This was the thing which we have seen last time. One is a database of the machine learning. So there are different database systems that are available and plays a very critical components in machine learning. These database management systems not only stores a large number of the data, but it also sorts, and then it gives a meaningful insights from them. We can take and we can gain a meaningful insights from them. So these were the some of the database management systems like Apache Cassandra, then the Couchbase, then the DynamoDB, then the Elasticsearch, then MLDB, that is called as machine learning database, which is an open source system. Then Microsoft SQL Server, that is the written in C and C++, also is a relational database management system, RDBMS. Then MySQL, again written in C, C++, and again an open source relational database management system powered by Oracle. Then MongoDB is a general purpose and document based distributed database which is built for advanced application developers. Then PostgreSQL is a powerful open source relational database systems which uses and extend the SQL language to store and scale the most complicated data workloads. And then the last one which we have seen is a Redis, which is again an open source in-memory data structure stored for data cache and message broker. So these are some of the database management system that has been used for machine learning. Now we'll move towards the next concept in data processing in machine learning is the data processing. So this is again a very crucial and important part. When you write an algorithm for the machine learning, the most important thing is your data. So you can write the algorithm, but you need to have a very secure data, very organized data. Then it should gain some kind of meaningful insight, and all those things that is required to be to apply the algorithms on it. And henceforth data, I do feel so, is one of the most critical and most important component of any algorithms on which it is going to be applied. So what is the data processing and how the processing is done in machine learning, we are going to see in this lecture. So data processing is nothing but task of converting the data from given form to much more usable and desired form. That is what I said, that actually we are converting the data into a more meaningful and informative form. So the raw data need to be processed. Otherwise, you will not get the information which you want from the data. That's why this data processing plays a very crucial part. Using machine learning algorithms, mathematical modeling, and statistical knowledge, this entire process can be automated. So, if you know, you don't need to apply this data processing manually. Once you understand how this machine learning algorithm is going to act and how you are going to develop mathematical modeling and through the statistical knowledge, then the whole process of machine learning can be automated. The output of the complete process can be desired like graphs, videos, charts, tables, images, and many more, depending upon the task we are performing and requirement of the machine. So depending upon what you want at the output. So it could be the form of graphs, it could be the form of chart, tables, images. It can be generated as per the requirement of the uh, application. This might also seem to be simple when it comes to massive organizations like Twitter, Facebook, administrative bodies like Parliament, UNSK, health sector organization. This entire process needs to be performed in a very structured manner. So इसका मतलब ये है कि अगर ये सारी चीजें जो organizations machine learning को use करते हैं उनके पास massive data होता है, that's why they are very big organizations like Twitter, Facebook, or it may be the administrative bodies like Parliament, UNESCO, health sector organization. They are having huge amount of data with myself, and then huge data needs to be processed in order to perform the whole algorithm or whole process in a very structured manner. So in order to put the data in a structured manner, it needs to be performing some steps. These steps are to be followed, and then only you can get these algorithms of machine learning to execute the output which is required. And henceforth, all these things are very important, as including the data processing. So what are the steps that is followed by the data processing? What it follows? It first collects the data, then it prepares the data, then it is ready to be as input, then processing, then output, and then you're storing the data. So these are the steps that are being taken under processing the data. Actually, processing means it's just not about collecting or converting into a form which is required and then using the information, meaningful insight from the data, but it also is like a small process, and which starts from collection and it moves to the storage. So it is nothing but preparation of the data, collection of the data to your storing the data. So that will include the processing, and the processing will comes between input and output. So obviously, when you're going to get an input, first just collecting the whole together, then you're preparing it, then it will be acting as an input, then you're processing it, and then you're taking as an output for the storage purpose. So processing part will be between input and output. So we'll see one by one how this collection takes place, how the processing takes place, what is the input, what is the output, and how you store the data. So now what is collection? Collection is nothing but when we start processing the machine learning, we need to have a data very good of very good quality and accuracy. So data can be collected from authenticated sources. So obviously remember that you should collect the data from the authenticated websites or the sources. Example I have given here is a data.gov.in is one of the very authenticated source from which the data is normally taken, or it may be a Kaggle or UCI dataset repository. These are some of the sources from which the data is downloaded. So obviously it is very important to have the data authentication, because if we don't have the data authentication, you cannot say to be as a the data can be useful for different applications. Hence, collection is also one of the crucial step as far as the data processing is concerned. You can take an example like when you're preparing for the competitive exams, a student study from the best study material and they can access so that they can learn the best to obtain the best results. It is the same thing. Like जैसे आप competitive exams में आपका जो data आप gather करके पढ़ने के लिए ready रखते हो, वो data बहुत important होता है, because वही आपको बेस्ट रिजल्ट दे सकता है. अगर वो डेटा प्रॉपरली कलेक्टेड नहीं है तो आपको तैयारी के लिए डेटा नहीं मिलेगा properly. So that's why from where you are going to get the data, from which authenticated sources are you collecting the data, becomes very much important. In the same way, a high quality and accurate data will make the learning process of model easier. Obviously, if you are having a very high quality notes to study, it is easier to understand and you can process the model. Hence it is same applied to the data processing also. It's better to have the yield of state of arts result. A huge amount of capital, time and resources are consumed in collecting the data. Organizations or researchers have to decide what kind of data they need to execute their task or research. Example could be working on facial expression recognizer needs numerous images having varieties of human expressions. Good data ensures that the results of the model are valid and we can be trusted upon. So obviously you are having a huge amount of capital that you're going to get in terms of consuming the collected data. Example you can take is that if you want to catch up the facial expressions from an human face, what you need to know is that you need to have a varieties of human expression data, that is images of these varieties of human expressions. If you have a very less amount of human expressive images, then it becomes very difficult to catch up the exact expressions of the human. So that's why the model development based upon the data is very much important, as the machine learning is a data driven. So I've already said that it's a data driven, and henceforth most of the things depends upon how the data you are getting. So a collection of the data has to be very important. So when you are going to deal with the huge amount of data, the collection source has to be very important, and that can be explained with the help of the database. Second step is preparation. Now you have collected the data from a very authenticated source. Now what is going to happen is, next step will be how you're going to prepare that data. The collected data can be in a raw form, hence it cannot be directly fed to the machine. It has to be processed as it is taken from different sources. Analyzing these data sets and then constructing a new data set will be a preparation step. So obviously the raw data which you have collected, now this raw data you cannot be fed directly to the machine, so it has to be analyzed. So it is to be constructing a new data set will be done in this step called as preparation. The preparation can be performed either manually or it could be an automatic approach. So while preparing the data, you can develop an algorithm where you can give an input as the data and you will get a very prepared output as an images. So that could be an automatic, or you can manually test. You can manually consider each and every image or data. You prepare it for the further processing, and then you have a construction of the new data set that is for further processing and exploration. So you can go either by manually or you can have an automation process there also. So this preparation can be performed either manually or automatic approach. Data can also be prepared in a numeric forms also, which would fasten the model's learning. So if the model is in the numeric form, so there are different forms of data. Now you can see that there are images which can be fed. There are images, collection of the images, the collection of the images, or it could be a numerical form data. So those, now which kind of data to be used should be decided in such a way that you can fasten up the model's learning. Because if images are given, it will take a little bit of time to prepare the data. If it is given in the numeric form, it will do the fast algorithm on. So the model's response will be depending upon the type of data. Example, an image can be converted to a matrix. This is the best example dimension, and the value of each cell will indicate the image pixel. So you can convert the image totally into a matrix form, that is in the mathematical or numerical form, and that will be very much useful to process it fast for the model's learning. It will fasten up the model's learning. This is what the preparation is. Then the third one is input. Now the prepared data can be in the form that may not be machine readable. So अभी तो मैंने कलेक्ट किया है डेटा, इसको प्रिपेयर किया है, ऑर्गेनाइज्ड फॉर्म में लिया है, लेकिन अभी भी मैं इसको मशीन को नहीं दे सकता हूँ because that is not again to a machine readable. So in order to convert this data to a readable form, some conversion algorithms are needed. For this task to be executed, high computation and accuracy is needed. Example, data can be collected through the sources like MNST digital data, Twitter comments, audio files, video clips, etc. So now what in this step is going to that, what you're going to do is you're going to convert this prepared data into a machine readable form. That is what the input is. Then comes processing. This is the stage where algorithm and ML techniques are required to perform the instructions provided over a large volume of data with accuracy and optimal computation. So on this data, you're going on this input data, which you're going to now convert it into, which is converted into a machine readable form. Then you're going to apply a machine level technique in order to perform the instructions. Output, in this stage, results are procured by the machine in meaningful manner, which can be inferred easily by the user. So now it is converted from machine readable by applying machine learning techniques over it. In the output stage, now it is converted into a meaningful manner, that is which could be easily inferred and used by the user. So output can be in the form of reports, graphs, videos, etc. And then comes the storage. The final step which is been obtained from the output is the data model output. which will be useful for information and can be saved for the future purpose. So in this way, we have seen the first one is a collection, then preparation, then input, then processing, output, and storage. Yes, students, have you got up till this? Have you got the data processing?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now we'll move to the next is feature types. Now, once you understand what kind of data you have, once you understand how your data is processed, it has been seen that you're converting the data into a machine readable data. You're having input and you got an output in an organized form. Now the data is ready for the further things, because once you have the data in a readable form so that machine can be understood, the user can be interpreting the data very easily. Now the next step is to obtain the features. So how could be the features obtained? So let us first of all understand what are the feature types in the machine learning. Because once you got the data, once you prepared your data, you collected your data, you're having your inputted the data, processed the data, outputted the data, then you are having overall a full data with yourself. Now it is completely a readable and understandable data which is having some meaningful insights. Now from this you're going to extract some features, so that feature selection, feature extraction, that is also a very important step in machine learning. But before that, I should understand what are the feature types. So what are the features that you can extract from the machine learning? So if you see this, that the open often the individual observations are analyzed into set of quantifiable properties, which is called as features. So you can quantify it. The most important is that the data which you are having, if it is a quantifiable property, it is in the form of quantifiable properties, then it is called as the features. So mostly there are four types of features available. One is a categorical, second is an ordinal, third one is an integer valued, and fourth one is a real valued. Now this data is applicable to all the machine learning algorithms where you're going to have the feature types. You're going to select depending upon the applications which types of feature you're going to select. So when you're going to select the categorical, when it is an example, it is a B group, A group, AB group, or it may be a O group type of blood type. This is example of a category. So once if you want to categorize the blood group into types like A, AB, O, B, at that time, such kind of features, if you want to extract, then these types of features are called as categorical features. So that means if I say that if I am having a data of blood type, so if I could say that I have collected the blood types of almost 1000 people. So obviously I have to categorize that blood type so that I can give, uh, I can donate the blood to those people who are in need of blood. So if I am going to collect that data, I need to categorize it. That means I should have the feature types. So in this, which type of features are you getting is a categorical. So depending upon the applications, you're going to define the feature types. The second one is an ordinal means, like an example is an what is the height of the uh, Indian men. Like if it could be anything height, it could be large, medium, small, all these types of things comes under ordinal. So how much scalable it is, like my height is scalable, so how much it is having a large height, medium height, or a small height. So that comes under ordinal. The third one is an integer valued. So integer valued means it could be number of words in the text. So how much words are there in the text? If it is going to be calculated, then this types of feature will be an integer valued. And then the real valued. Example, the height value. An example could be the height. So depending upon the applications, you're going to apply these feature types. So always, obviously, wherever you're going, whatever the data you're having, you have to be categorized in these. You have to get into these four features only. So आपको पूरा डेटा कौन सा भी डेटा लेकर आओ, आपको वो डेटा इन चार कैटेगरीज में बिठाना पड़ेगा. सीधी सी बात है. वो है कैटेगोरियल, ऑर्डिनल, इंटीग्रेटेड वैल्यूड एंड रियल वैल्यूड. So this is the feature types of in machine learning. Now comes feature construction. Now, how are you going to construct these features? So first is knowing or understanding the feature types. Second is the feature construction. And then you will be having a feature selection, feature transformation. These are the four things about the features. So first is your features types, then feature construction, feature transformation, and then you're having the feature selection. Now, feature construction means constructing the additional features from the existing data. So, आप कितना और डेटा उसका कंस्ट्रक्ट कर सकते हो, जो डेटा ऑलरेडी अवेलेबल है उसी में से आप डेटा कंस्ट्रक्ट कर सकते हो. तो अगर आप कर सकेंगे तो उसको फीचर कंस्ट्रक्शन बोल सकते. These features are usually distributed in multiple related tables. Feature construction requires extracting relevant information from the data and storing it into a single table. So obviously from all the existing data, you're going to construct the features, and by extracting the exact relevant information from the data and storing in the form of single table, which is then used to train the machine learning models. This requires us to spend a lot of time to study the actual data samples, think about the potential form of the problems and data structure, and at the same time be able to better apply it to the prediction model. So obviously, getting the information from the data and storing it form of a single table is nothing but feature construction. Feature reconstruction also requires strong insight and analysis capabilities and requires us to find some physically meaningful features from the original data. For tabular data, feature construction means mixing or combining the features to get a new features or constructing new features by decomposing or segmenting features. For text data, features are enough to design specific problems. Text index for image data, this means automatic filtering to get relevant structure. So अलग अलग टाइप्स के डेटास को आप कैसे करते हो एनालाइज, और उससे कुछ डेटास को, कुछ फीचर्स को मिलाकर एक नया फीचर बना सकते हैं, उसी को हम फीचर कंस्ट्रक्शन बोलते हैं. फॉर एग्जांपल, अगर हमें कोई मीनिंगफुल फीचर्स ओरिजिनल डेटा से निकालना है तो आप कुछ फीचर्स को कंबाइन करके नया फीचर्स बना सकते हो, और आप कंस्ट्रक्ट कर सकते हो नए फीचर्स को बाय डिकम्पोजिंग और सेगमेंटिंग सम फीचर्स ऑफ द डेटा. For text, you're going to get the features with the design specific problems, and for image, automatic filtering to get relevant structure of the data. So इस तरह से आप हर तरह के डेटा को कंस्ट्रक्ट कर सकते हैं. सिंपल वे अगर मैं फीचर कंस्ट्रक्शन को बताऊं तो मुझे क्या करना है कि मेरे पास जो डेटा अवेलेबल है उस डेटा को मैं कैसे कंस्ट्रक्ट करूं. सो अगर मैं टेबुलर फॉर्म में उसको मिक्सिंग कर सकता हूं, अगर वो टेक्स्ट डेटा है तो मैं अलग तरह से हैंडल कर सकता हूं, अगर वो इमेज डेटा है तो मैं अलग तरीके से हैंडल कर सकता हूं. सो डिपेंडिंग अपॉन हाउ यू आर एबल टू कंस्ट्रक्ट द डेटा फ्रॉम द मीनिंगफुल डेटा is nothing but feature construction in the machine learning. Feature construction is a very time consuming process because each new feature usually requires few steps to construct. Especially when using information from multiple tables, we can divide the operation of the feature construction into two categories, that is transformation and aggregation. So अगर हम multiple data में इस data को require कर रहे हैं तो ये obviously feature construct करना यानी कि वो छोटा मोटा काम नहीं है. It is going to require a huge amount and time consuming process because नए features आप जो available features है उससे आप नए features बना रहे हो, तो उसके लिए आप फीचर कंस्ट्रक्ट करने के लिए ज्यादातर दो कैटेगरीज में काम कर सकते हैं. एक तो पूरा ट्रांसफॉर्म करना या तो फिर इसको एग्रीगेट करना. By constructing new features from one or more columns, the transformation acts on single table. And aggregation is implemented across tables and use one-to-many association to group the observation and then calculates the statistics. So इस तरह से transformation और aggregation का काम होता है. Many machine learning competitions directly give the training sets like features plus class labels, and we can then transform the given features to construct more features. In actual work, many times we do not need to have a ready-made features. We need to perform aggregation operation to construct the features required by the model. So अगर आपके पास ready-made features है तो आप उसको transform कर सकते हो, नहीं है तो आपको aggregation operations लगाकर features को construct करना पड़ेगा. For example, each record in the user behavioral data table is a browsing behavior or a clock behavior of the user. So aggregation operations such as length of the user's last browsing, user's last features such as number of clicks, and then use this convert operation to construct more features. Finally, we can use these features to train the model. So directly made model को train नहीं कर सकता हूँ. मुझे सबसे पहले फीचर्स के बारे में मालूम करना पड़ेगा, फीचर्स कंस्ट्रक्ट करना पड़ेगा, और ये फीचर कंस्ट्रक्शन करने के बाद ही मैं उसे मॉडल को दे सकता हूँ टू ट्रेनिंग. सो रिमेंबर दैट कि डेटा कलेक्शन से लेकर डेटा प्रिपरेशन से लेकर फीचर्स टाइप सेलेक्ट कर कर कंस्ट्रक्ट करना और बाद में मॉडल को ट्रेन करने के लिए देना, इतना सारा लंबा जो प्रोसेस है उसमें फीचर कंस्ट्रक्शन एक बहुत टाइम कंज्यूमिंग प्रोसेस है. और फीचर भी कंस्ट्रक्ट करते समय दो तरीके से आप कर सकते हैं. वन इज अ ट्रांसफॉर्मिंग एंड द अदर वन इज एग्रीगेशन. सो ट्रांसफॉर्मिंग कब यूज करेंगे? जब आपके पास ऑलरेडी ट्रेनिंग सेट है, लाइक फीचर्स है, क्लास लेबल्स है, तब आप डायरेक्टली ट्रांसफॉर्म कर सकते हैं टू कंस्ट्रक्ट मोर फीचर्स. बट अगर आपके पास ये नहीं है तो आपको नए तरीके से फीचर्स एक्सट्रैक्ट करना है, तब आप एग्रीगेशन ऑपरेशन लगा सकते हैं to get an multiple original data tables. So in this way, we can construct the features from the given features of the data. So after construction, then comes your feature transformation. Feature transformation is the process of modifying your data but keeping the information. These modifications will make the machine learning algorithm understanding easier, which will deliver the best result. So construct करने के बाद उसको transform करने का काम करता है feature transformation. आप फीचर ट्रांसफॉर्मेशंस में डेटा एक्चुअली मॉडिफाई करते हैं, लेकिन हमें याद रखना पड़ेगा कि मॉडिफाई करते समय हमारा ओरिजिनल डेटा एज इट इज रखना जरूरी है, अदरवाइज आपके कंक्लूजन में गलतियां हो सकती है. You can go or you can move towards a wrong conclusion if you're going to modify too much of things of the input data, which is constructed features, which is of constructed features. So proper feature transformation can bring a significant improvement to your model. Sometimes feature transformation is only way to gain a better score. So it is the crucial point how you represent your data and feed it to the target model. So ये एक बहुत important role play करता है feature transformation after construction, because ये आपका output बढ़ाने में या output improve करने में एक बहुत बड़ा role play कर सकता है. So just by constructing the features is not going to help, but transforming into a significant representation of your data to get the to feed it to the target model is very important. Feature transformation refers to the family of algorithms that create new features using existing features. These new features may not have the same interpretation as original, but they may have more discriminatory power in a different space through original space. This could also be reused in feature reduction. So obviously आप feature modify कर रहे हो तो वो नए features आप तैयार कर रहे हो from the कंस्ट्रक्टेड फीचर्स. कंस्ट्रक्शन किया है उसे और आप नए फीचर्स कर रहे हो तो उसमें मॉडिफिकेशंस कर रहे हो. सो ये मॉडिफिकेशंस हो सकता है कि इट माइट डिफर फ्रॉम द ओरिजिनल फीचर्स, बट यस दे मे बी हैविंग अ पावर टू डिस्क्रिमिनेट द रिजल्ट्स फ्रॉम द ओरिजिनल स्पेस. इसमें फीचर रिडक्शन भी हो सकता है डिपेंडिंग अपॉन द टाइप ऑफ एप्लीकेशंस यू आर गोइंग थ्रू. सो feature transformation happens in many ways, by simple or linear combination of original features or using non-linear functions. So depending upon what kind of things you want to transform, which will improve your results, is going to be important. So feature transformations will play a very important role. So सबसे पहले हमने डेटा लिया, डेटा को कलेक्ट किया, डेटा कलेक्ट करने के बाद हमने उसके ऊपर प्रोसेसिंग लगाई. प्रोसेसिंग लगाने के बाद हमने उसके फीचर्स टाइप में उसको कन्वर्ट किया, यानी कि फीचर कौन सा फीचर टाइप लगाना ये तय किया. बाद में हमने फीचर कंस्ट्रक्ट्स किए, बाद में फीचर ट्रांसफॉर्म्स किए. अब फीचर ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन करने के बाद अब हम उसे मॉडलिंग यानी ट्रेनिंग के लिए देने के लिए रेडी है. Is it right? Common techniques that can be useful for feature transformations are scaling or normalization of the features that may be within the range, say 0 to 1. Then it could be using principal component analysis and its variants. ये techniques है अलग अलग. Then random projection, then neural networks. SVM also transform features internally and transforming categorical features to the numerical features. So ये अलग अलग किस्म के techniques है that could be applied for the feature transformation. Actually, you're going to modify, or it may be reduction of the features, is nothing but feature transformation, and these are the techniques that could be used. Here we look at some more feature transformations that are common during pre-processing. They range from simple scaling and centering to some of the most complicated procedures. Perhaps the most common feature transformation is one that is seldomly thought of feature transformations at all. Now feature transformations में कुछ और चीजें हमको जो देखनी है वो ये है कि it is a very common to scale and center the feature. ये एक बहुत कॉमन तरीके के फीचर ट्रांसफॉर्मेशंस है जो हर जगह पर इस्तेमाल होती है. एक तो स्केल करना और टू सेंटर द फीचर्स यू आर वर्किंग ऑन. Centering of a real valued variable is done by subtracting its sample mean from all the values. So अगर हमको सेंटरिंग करना है फीचर्स को, so ये बहुत कॉमन है. मतलब आप फीचर ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन में कुछ चीजें जो कॉमन करने वाले हो, मॉडिफाई करना ये बात अलग है. लेकिन वॉट एवर द कॉमन थिंग्स विच यू आर गोइंग टू डू इज वन इज योर स्केलिंग एंड द सेकेंड वन इज योर center the features. So while centering the real value variable, it could be done by subtracting its sample mean from all the values. This equation of mean is given as x bar equal to summation I equal to 1 to n xi, where n is the number of values in the samples. Note that the sample mean is generally denoted by bar. So सैंपल मीन निकालना है तो बार हम ज्यादातर यूज करते हैं. whereas population mean is normally denoted by the Greek letter mu. So there are two ways the mean is calculated. One is the number of values in the sample that is been taken, that is given by n. Note that the sample mean is generally denoted by the bar, and whereas population mean is denoted by mu. Scaling. So पहला है आपका centering the features that could be done with the help of subtracting its sample mean from all the values. Then sampling mean means there are two ways it is given. To calculate the sample mean, it is given by bar, and population mean is given by the letter mu. Then second is the scaling, which is very important feature and normally it is adopted. Scaling of a real valued variable is done by dividing all its value by its sample standard deviation. This equation for calculating the standard deviation is given by SSDX, that is square root of 1 upon n minus 1 summation 1 to n xi minus x bar whole bracket square. So this is how we have done today's lecture. What we have done: data processing. It is nothing but converting the data from given form to much more usable and desired form, that is making more meaningful and informative. Data processing: collection, preparation, input, processing, output, storage. This is the collection. So collecting good quality and accuracy is the crucial step of collecting good quality and accurate data. Then second is preparation. So how you prepare the data, that is very much important. So it could be either manually or an automatic approach. Data can be prepared in numeric form, that so that it could be converted. It could be used to fasten up the model's learning. Then input, that is machine readable, may not be machine readable. To convert it into form of machine readable is input. Then applying some kind of algorithms or machine learning techniques could be a processing. Output, now you can be easily given to a machine readable form. It could be the form of reports, graphs, videos, etc. The storage, so now once you obtain the output, it could be an useful information as say for the future use. So feature types, there are 4 feature types. We have seen categorical, ordinal, integer, and real valued features. Feature construction, so it is nothing but additional features from the existing data. So feature construction it's a very important, requires strong insight and analysis capabilities, and requires us to find some physical meaningful features from the original data. This is the same thing. There are two ways the feature construction can be done: transformations and aggregation. So by constructing new features from one or more columns, it is called as transformation, which acts on a single table. Aggregation is implemented across tables and use one-to-many association to group the observations and then calculate statistics. Feature transformations is very much useful, a process of modifying your data but keeping the information same to deliver better results. So there are different feature transformation techniques like scaling or normalizing the features, principal component analysis, random projection, neural network, SVM that can be used to features transform internally, and transforming categorical features to numerical features. There are the most common feature transformation techniques. One is centering the features, and second one is scaling the features. So that could be done with the help of mean and standard deviations. Yes, students, any questions? Hello? Hello, any questions?
No, sir.
Okay, so it is done from my side. We'll take the attendance.